Hello, everybody. I want to welcome you here to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. Back here with episode number 6 already. Yeah, episode 6 going to be released Saturday morning of Masterpiece Albums by Black Sabbath. So, the album we're going to do today is called Master of Reality. Yep, Master of Reality, August of 1971. So just in case you're not really sure how I came to this conclusion, so these are all personal masterpiece albums. They're not the definitive Black Sabbath masterpiece albums. These aren't the ones you have to put as masterpiece albums. These are just my own personal views on them. So please don't take offense if I don't choose one of the albums that you think's on that list. You can have your own list and put your own albums on it. That's how it works, right? So this album, Masters of Reality, coming out in August of 71. How did I come to decide that this is a masterpiece album? Well, again, we go back to the early days when I first got into Sabbath. Was one of those 4 bands that many of you have heard me say: Queen, Styx, Rush, Sabbath. Those are the 4 bands I listened to other bands too. There's about 20 bands or 20 or 25 bands I was listening to, but these were the ones that I started to move into that direction. So my friend would buy one and I would buy one. So I believe he bought this one and I bought, actually no, it's the opposite. He bought the other one and I bought this one. That's how it came about. So this album was one that I owned in vinyl, and he owned the other one in vinyl, which I think was Paranoid. And then he taped that and gave it to me, and I taped this and gave him that one. So that's how we used to do it prior to, I think by the end of 1980, or maybe even somewhere in 81, we started buying our own stuff, right? But at that point in time, we were still kind of not really working too much, so we didn't have any money. So we had to do it that way. So anyways, Black Sabbath's Master Reality, the Dark Album, I call it. This one is heavier than its predecessor and the predecessor before that. Those were kind of dark albums too, and they had their heavy parts, but this one had some serious dark kind of stoner sounds to them and grinding drug-induced songs to it as well. Really, personally, this album has always been one of my favorite Sabbath albums, and it's only grown. It's now challenging for that top spot, actually. I haven't released my Black Sabbath definitive rankings yet, but it's going to be near the top, if not at the top. I don't know why I tried to put these on. I'm not really paying attention here. Sometimes I do things without thinking about them. So I think this album is more of a heavy album than a lot of them, but it does have some of that kind of psychedelic songs on it, a little bit of that psychedelic flair in a couple tracks, some kind of acoustic parts on it as well. So it's not entirely just one sound. I think it's a little bit more cohesive sound-wise than the predecessor, which had a lot of kind of different sounds to it, maybe not even as heavy. But this one definitely had some more cohesive sound to it. Had a kind of a theme, I guess you might want to call it. So you've got basically 8 tracks on here. You do have 8 tracks on here. It started out for me, of course, Sweet Leaf, Children of the Grave. Those were the 2 big ones. Children of the Grave being the one I loved the most. Sweet Leaf to me was a stoner music. Not as big on that, but I came to like it. It's really got that heavy, beefy riff to it. Children of the Grave is more of a crunching, heavy metal song. So good. One of the best Sabbath songs ever, I think. And then you've got Embryo and Orchid, which are kind of a little bit different. They're just little pieces of music that are more soft and acoustic sounding. One leading into Children of the Grave, the other one leading into Lonely is the Word, which eventually became one of the songs I like quite a bit. Solitude is among my favorite Sabbath songs now. At that time, I would just skip over it and want to hear it, but I have grown to absolutely love that song. The other song that is notable on this is After Forever, which is really fast-paced and upbeat and crashing, more so than any other Sabbath song of that time period. I actually think this might be one of the very kind of first kind of speed metal thrashy songs. But I loved it. I love the words on it. I love the sound of it. It's just basically, it's really catchy and really kind of fast-paced. Very different from a lot of other Sabbath stuff, which is more melodic and hard grinding and dark sounding. So you have, of course, on this album you have Ozzy on vocals, Tony Iommi on guitars, Geezer on bass, and Bill on drums. These are the original members. They played in the first 8 albums, I believe. A really strong album from that time period. This is their 3rd studio album. Follows Paranoid and their debut album. And very heavy album, I think. Probably the heaviest of the original half dozen or so album until they got the Sabotage, and then it kind of became different again. But excellent album. It has really stood up well over the years. In fact, it's gotten stronger. Most of this, the funny part is most of the Sabbath stuff has for me. There's no, sorry, I got something in my throat. There's no real burnout here from this album, or any of them really. I still regularly go to them, and this is one of the ones I probably go to even more regular than the others. But really kind of a strong album, and definitely one of their best. And this was produced by Roger Bain. Yeah, so excellent album. Please give it a listen to if you haven't. If you like that heavy stuff, this is one of the heaviest. And its current status with me, of course, is still right up there at the top as far as Sabbath goes. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Masterpiece Albums by Black Sabbath. If you did, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. Much appreciated. And don't forget your comments. Any comments about the album, Sabbath in general, the music, my comments or anything like that, I'll put them all down in the comment section below. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss the final episode, which will come out Sunday morning. This will be out Saturday morning, and we have one more album to go. So I hope to see you then. Take care and have a good day. Bye.